Julia with iCadenza, and I'm sitting here with Tory McKenna, who is an incredible soprano who we at iCadenza truly believe will be the next big star. And we just heard her sing at an Opera Associates performance here in Studio City in Los Angeles, and you did such a fantastic job today, Tory.
Thank you so much.
Now you've had a really unorthodox path to the opera stage, so to speak. Can you tell us about how you first got started with music?
Sure, yeah. At an early age, my parents introduced us to pretty significant works of music through madrigals. And so my brother and I and my parents were all singing four-part harmony it's one of my earliest memories actually, singing Fair Phyllis and Silver Swan and Now Is the Month of Maying. Big hits back in the day, but in 7th grade it wasn't the coolest thing going, so but I am eternally grateful for it because it really prepared me for what I do today.
And you also sang quite a bit in your church, I believe.
Yes. So when we were old enough, they introduced us into the Episcopal Church as treble choristers, and I was 12 at the time. And that was the first time I really had the pleasure of singing with an orchestra, the major works of Handel, Mozart, Fauré. It was just an incredible experience. And actually, with that same church, we got to experience evensong in England. We went to England for a week to sing evensong at one of the cathedrals there. It was amazing. I even sang in Westminster Abbey.
Wow.
So it was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was incredible.
Well, it sounds like you had the most wonderful musical upbringing one can ask for.
Oh yeah, I would be a different person today, I think, if I didn't have that experience.
Now, you talked about, before we started the interview, you told me that you'd always seen music as a big part of your life, but you never really saw it as the career path for you. And you talked about how, until you met your current teacher, Nina Hinson, you really hadn't considered it in terms of an opera career. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. Thank you for asking, actually, because I asked, my mother tells me that I asked at an early age if I could sing for a living, and she discouraged it because of financial reasons, because it's not something that's going to bring big bucks at the early stages, but she did say she recognized that I would love it, that it would be something that would make me very happy. So I always just kind of put it on the back burner as something that I really enjoyed and loved and made me whole, but never pursued it as a career. And until I met Nina Hinson, I had moved to Los Angeles, and for lack of a community, I just decided, well, I've always sung in the church, so I'll just join a church choir. And I happened to walk into this fabulous church in downtown Los Angeles, or in Koreatown, St. James Episcopal Church, and they have an amazing choir. And I've never sung at that level before, and they were going to pay me to be a staff member there. And so I got a referral from one of my colleagues. She had told me about this amazing teacher that had within minutes, opened up a whole new vocal side of her that she never knew. And I immediately had to know who she was and where she was so I could go take a lesson. And of course, I did. And within that first lesson, I was looking over my shoulder to see who was singing because I was hearing a voice come out of me that I had never heard before. And it was my true voice. It really changed my whole path, I think, in terms of where I was going in my life. So she is somebody who I don't know what I would do without her.
What a wonderful, incredible story.
Yeah.
It's just, wow. Now, when you perform,
mm-hmm.
What do you find to be the most challenging thing?
In performance, basically in everyday life, I've found that my mind plays a bigger role than I gave it credit for. And what it says to me are very critical things that are very not productive, but somehow I think it's productive, which must be why I kept doing it for so long. But I would say things like, "Oh, you should have done that differently. Oh, that didn't sound right. You might have insulted somebody. You shouldn't have said that." next time when you have the opportunity, make sure they know that that's not what you meant, or it's just constant stream of you should have done that differently. Oh, shouldas, wouldas, yes. Yeah. And in performance, that is exponential. I'm sure as a performer, you know that your own worst enemy is you, and that is definitely my biggest challenge. And recently, since I have become aware of this inner monologue that is not productive, that has been something that I've been trying to overcome. And it's so gratifying to have performances like this, because I really do feel like I've grown. I've really grown, and I felt connected to those pieces. And the tool that helped me the most in terms of overcoming that was just finding a phrase or an image or a storyline that I've created on my own that really connects me to this piece that I'm going to sing. And I really enjoyed the performance today because I was much more involved in my own storyline instead of my mind taking control of what I should have done differently, or yeah, so that has been my biggest challenge.